hello, Janelle here, and I have so many fights to talk about. Let's just go ahead and get right into it. I made 6 picks, and I got 5 out of 6 picks. And if you're wondering where that 6th pick came from, well, I picked Canelo Alvarez to beat Caleb Plant. Silly. You have to follow me on all of my platforms to get all of my picks, including the updates, the additionals, the renicks, and all of that. Hit the description down below so you can follow me on all platforms. Let's go ahead and get into it. So first up, I chose Canelo Alvarez to beat Caleb Plant, and he did. This was a good fight, man. Canelo really has gotten so much more technical as he's grown as a fighter. At first, it was this kind of raw talent. So he kind of starts slow, but actually he started a little bit faster to me in this fight. Caleb's jab was working. In the early rounds of this fight, he did have the reach advantage. He was able to land some shots, but then Canelo started crowding him kind of early, started getting inside that range and landing some nice body shots. He was fighting really well within the pocket, and eventually he started to connect up top as well. This ended in the 11th round where he landed, I believe it was a left, then he followed up with some rights, which actually dropped Caleb down to like one hand on the ground. So that's a knockdown. He got a little time to recover, but he actually hadn't recovered, and you can tell when this fight started again, and Canelo just went after him, landed some more shots, and then it was like some rights in a row all the way down to the ground. Ref stopped the fight, KO, and new unified middleweight champion. I believe he is the 6th male to become a unified champion, and a unified champion, not just in that weight class. And yeah, congrats to him. Amazing fight, amazing walkout. You know, he does the walkouts big. I like the entertainment factor. I really like Canelo Alvarez. So who would you like to see him fight next? Now, let's get into this UFC 268, y'all. All right, so out of my 5 picks, I got 4. Let's go ahead and get into this. This opening fight, we saw Justin Gaethje get the unanimous decision over Michael Chandler. After the first round, I was like, this is not gonna last. I'm so surprised. This fight had, everything was thrown with bad intentions from both men. Justin Gaethje was connecting with those leg kicks early, which hampered the movement, but Michael still managed to get a takedown. Actually, he actually over-rotated, flipped him, and actually landed up on the wrong side of that. But this, I mean, they were going after each other. Michael Chandler's face was bloody, even though he connected with his shots as well. It was so fun. I don't have the words to describe it. Please check it out for yourself. An amazing win for Justin Gaethje, and you know, he wants the title shot after this. So who would you like to see him fight next? If it's not a title shot from the winner, who? Next up, underappreciated fight until the ending round. In the last round, we saw Shane Burgos get the victory over Billy Quarantillo, so I got this pick as well. Didn't start off good. Billy was on him, crowding him, easily won that first round, pushed him back the entire time, was working everything, some kicks as well, although Shane was working his kicks, and he had better kicks. Those lower kicks, those calf kicks was really working throughout this entire event, actually. And the second and third rounds, Shane was able to get his range, and his defense got better. He stopped being there to hit like he was in that first round. He was slipping punches, again, landing some more kicks. He kicks up the middle started to open up, and he won the second and third round. This was a great win. He even tried to pump up the crowd because the crowd was actually booing, even though these two were going at it the whole time. If we hadn't seen Justin and Chandler before, this would have been a great, you know, the crowd would have really fully appreciated this fight. But either way, eventually they did come around. Great win for Shane Burgos. Who would you like to see him fight next? Now, next up, this is the pick I did not get. I chose Frankie Edgar to beat Chito Vera. He did not. Chito won this fight in the 3rd round. Frankie won the 1st round. He was able to take him down, ground and pound, and hold him there the entire round. I was like, okay, good. We're in good position. And then Chito came back in the 2nd round to not get taken down. Much more higher offensive output, and he was clearly more powerful. Everything he landed, you could see that Frankie felt. This ended in the 3rd round with a kick to the face. Right up the middle. Bow! Drop. Oh, over. Didn't knock him out, though. And in fact, Frankie protested immediately. He was on his knees. He was like, man, come on, come on. He was not knocked out, but you know how I am, better early than late. The refs have a relationship with these fighters. They know the fighters. They can feel them inside. So if he felt to stop it, this is not something where I'm going to say it should have been a couple more hits after. I don't know. Frankie has a really amazing gas tank. So if anybody could have recovered from it, it probably would have been Frankie. But again, I'm always better early than late, so I'm going to be consistent here. Great win for Chito Vera. Who would you like to see him fight next? Now, first of the 2 title fights in the co-main event, and I got this pick. It was split decision. And still, UFC strawweight champion Miss Rose Namajunas, Thug Rose. She successfully defended her belt against Weili Zhang in their second fight. And this one was a full, complete 3 rounds. Like I said, split decision. Let's get into it. So 1-3 Zhang, 2-4 Rose. That's how I had it. Weili, she got a quicker start. She was pushing Rose back. It took Rose a minute to find her range. In fact, Rose was kind of shelled up and hesitant. I could see, you know, she was reading everything. But I was like, you need to fight. She's stacking up points. Second round was extremely close. Rose actually started to, she did outstrike her on the feet. She found her range. And you could tell she wasn't more powerful, but she was like as powerful. I thought that Weili was going to be noticeably more powerful with her punching. It was not like that. It was like equal power. And that karate background generates real power from Rose. So then she got a takedown at the end of that second round because Weili had got a takedown as well. And when she did that, I was like, okay, I think you might have either, you got it close enough to where you could get that round, could go either way, but now we're in business. That second round, you muddied that one up, could go your way. And then looking at the stats, I felt like it did, but either way. Third round, Weili. Fourth round, at the end of the third round, though, Rose took her, excuse me. Fourth round is when Rose was able to actually reverse position. She got on top and she was able to hold her down for a significant amount of time. So she won this fourth round and she figured out that Weili kind of accepts being on her back. And so fifth round came in and she took her down immediately. Took her down immediately, held her down. And there was times where Weili was able to push her back and kick her legs up. She was landing some real leg kicks, or up kicks to the face that landed, that were scaring the mess out of me. I was like, Rose, be careful trying to hold her down because she's gonna kick you in the face. You know, reverse it. But she managed not to get kicked in the face from the ground and win that fifth round. Great win for her, split decision. But I do believe that 2 wins in a row, I think someone else will be next now for Rose. So who would you like to see the Rose fight next? Great win for her. Great fight. Very technical, very skilled, very proud. Good job, ladies. Very proud. Now, main eventing. He did it. And still, welterweight champion, the Nigerian Nightmare, Mr. Kamaru Usman. He successfully defended his belt against Colby Chaos Covington. And another great fight, another very close fight, and but great win for Kamaru. Okay, so the first and second round went to Kamaru. It was him fighting behind that jab again. You can tell that he's added to that. There was more combinations, more kicks this time, noticeably more kicks. You can tell that Colby, he was more measured. He wasn't as anxious. He tried to take him down several times, which actually had Kamaru to think about some more things. So he didn't technically get the takedown on the stats, but as CCC said, he did actually get a takedown. Both knees on the ground is the takedown in wrestling. I think the question is it one in MMA? But we'll talk about that a little bit later. So in the second round, we saw Kamaru get 2 knockdowns and almost finished him in that fight. He literally saved by the bell. If there was like another minute there, I think the fight would have been ended there. So near finish there for Kamaru in the second round. Third round was super close. This is when Colby was finally able to mix it up and make it dirty, make it ugly. And every time he got in close quarters and got Kamaru to brawl with him, that's when he found his openings. Kamaru, you are not a pocket fighter, not a pocket puncher. You need to stay up behind a distance. When he gets crowded, it's like he gets anxious. It gets kind of loud, like he just wants to do everything, and he leaves himself open. And that big old head, I mean, the head was glistening as a target. And every time Colby would catch him and he would stun him. He was catching him clean, catching him on the chin, good placement, good power. So when he was able to mix it up and get Kamaru to actually draw him in like that, that's when he was finding his openings. This third round was extremely close. On the stats, actually, Kamaru wins it. In real time, I actually thought it could go either way, but real time, I actually thought Kamaru won the round 2. So we'll talk about that a little bit later as well. Round 4 definitely went to Colby. Colby was this time successfully able to get Kamaru to draw him into the brawl, get him to fight him where he wanted to fight him, get those openings, stun him several times. He didn't drop him, but he definitely stunned him, affected him, moved him the whole 9. Fourth round, Colby. Fifth round, Kamaru. Kamaru, as his coach said in between rounds, stay professional. stay professional. I was saying the whole time at the screen, stay professional. And he did. He managed to not be drawn into those firefights, to stay at a distance, to work more kicks, to fight behind that jab. And I think Kamaru's starting to get a handle on how powerful he is. He's got some dynamite in those hands. And that's why when it got close into the firefight, it seemed like he was so anxious. And it's like, no, you don't have the technique in the pocket yet. So, 1 round 5. So unanimous decision. One judge had it 4-1 for Kamaru. And like I said, real time, I thought Kamaru won round 3 too, although I thought it was close enough. And because of when Colby did land, it was those moments leaves lasting impressions. So I was like, I could see them giving him the 3rd round. So I'm actually okay with that. I'm fine with that. So, but when I saw that, I wasn't surprised by that. So either way, unanimous decision. Kamaru wins, closes that chapter. Afterwards, they did have some words together, some pleasantries, and you could hear Colby saying, I'm just trying to make the money for you. I respect you. It's all love, something to that effect. So there's that. And then afterwards, on the mic with Joe Rogan, he did say that, back to the drawing board, I'll be back. He was a better man tonight. He did say that. It wasn't until the post in the back room that he actually said that he thought he won the fight. So right there, real time, he accepted that he lost the fight. Afterwards, he said that he won. And then now all the Colby fans are coming out saying that he won. And y'all being kind of delusional with it, y'all. Just a little bit. Okay, just real quick. The takedown conversation. I think we need to start with what are the rules for a takedown for UFC? Because just because it's a takedown in wrestling doesn't mean it is in MMA. And each MMA organization has slightly different rules. So I think that's number 1. I don't even know. So what constitutes a takedown in the UFC? Even DC doesn't know. He was like, it's a takedown. And then the statistician got into John Anik's ear. And John was like, well, they said it's not. And it ain't counting as one, DC. So Kamaru still hasn't been taken down. And DC was like, I guess I don't know. Hilarious. So I think we have to start from what are the rules for a takedown in UFC. Just because it is in wrestling, it may not be in UFC. However, I agree, it is a takedown in wrestling. I do agree with that. Now I'm also hearing like, okay, he got 2 takedowns and Kamaru got 2 knockdowns, so those cancel each other out. What are you guys talking about? Okay, so the 2 takedowns did no damage, did hold him down. You can't say there was wear and tear on the knees or something like that. We can't see that. The 2 knockdowns, however, first off, when a knockdown like that is brain trauma, I know we all know what Sam Jackson, take your toy over there. He has to play with it on top of me. Okay, we all know what a flash knockout is, right? Where someone loses consciousness for literally like a millisecond and they're right back in there. I'm not so sure that that's not what we saw with the first knockdown with Colby. So to say that that's brain trauma, okay? So to say that that is equal to a takedown of which did nothing at all, we don't know about wear and tear to the knees, that's silly. The second knockdown, he didn't get back up. He didn't pop right back up off of the second one. He did not. So all I'm saying is make your case that he won the fight, but let's not get delusional with it. That's all I'm saying. And if you guys want to go out there and say that he won round 5, then I'm going to go ahead and say that Kamaru had a 10-8 round in round 2. Now, so at best, you're going to get me at a draw, meaning that Kamaru still walks away with the belt. So there it is. And if you really want me to fly out the box, I'll give him round 2 by 2 points and give him round 3, 49-45. If you really want to get silly, I can get silly too. Okay. He won the fight. Okay. 3 rounds to 2. Let's just... Give me your thoughts. Give me your injury updates on all of that. The Canelo fight, the UFC 268, and we had a last-minute fight, apparently between Dillon Danis and Ali, the manager. It happened. There's a little scuffle. I haven't seen an actual picture of like hand to face or even like the attempt. That's what I want to see. But you can tell that there was some sort of skirmish or something like that. And again, I have to say, why do we know this man? As in Dillon Danis. Why do we know who he is? I know he had the Bellator fights, but that doesn't mean that we should know him like this famous. Why do we know him? All right. Talk to me. Subscribe, like, talk to me, take care. And goodbye.